I know many of you have studied English for years, but when it comes to describing someone, you freeze, and the only words that come are nice, good, or bad. Native English speakers have an incredible toolbox of words to describe a person's personality, character, and feelings. The right word can create such a vivid picture that your listener can almost see that person standing right in front of them. But if you only use basic, overused words, your picture will be flat and dull, like trying to paint a rainbow with only black and white. Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Speak English with Leo. I'm Laura. In today's episode, I'll guide you step by step through powerful vocabulary you can use to bring your descriptions to life. In this lesson, I'm giving you more than 200 powerful phrases to make your English colorful, detailed, and alive. You'll hear each one in real-life examples. Repeat it with me at normal speed, then slow speed, and then normal speed again, until it feels natural and easy to say. And don't worry, you don't have to watch the full 2 hours in one go. Think of it like a phrase bank you can visit anytime. Do a few minutes today, a few minutes tomorrow, and come back whenever you want to add more colors to your English. By the end of this video, you won't just be describing people, you'll be bringing them to life with your words. You'll have the power to make your listener see what you see, feel what you feel, and remember your story. So don't just sit back and watch. Speak out loud with me. Every repetition is a brushstroke in your English painting, and together we're going to make it unforgettable. Section 1. How you communicate with others. Let's start with how a person talks and connects with others. My friend Sarah loves meeting new people. At a party, she walks in, smiles, and says, "Hi, I'm Sarah," to everyone. She asks questions, laughs at stories, and tells a few of her own. She's extroverted. She gets her energy from being around people. Normal. Sarah's extroverted. She talks to strangers like they're old friends. Slow. Sarah's extroverted. She talks to strangers like they're old friends. Normal. Sarah's extroverted. She talks to strangers like they're old friends. The opposite is introverted. You feel comfortable spending time alone or with just a small group of close friends. Think of Mark. He enjoys quiet evenings at home, reading a book or listening to music. After a long day, he recharges by being alone. Normal. Mark's introverted. He enjoys spending time alone. Slow. Mark's introverted. He enjoys spending time alone. Normal. Mark's introverted. He enjoys spending time alone. Extroverts often feel energized after socializing. Introverts often feel energized after quiet time. It's not about being shy. It's about where you get your energy. Then there are people who can turn a quick hello into a half-hour conversation. They're talkative. Imagine your uncle in a taxi. By the time the ride is over, the driver knows his life story, where he grew up, his favorite food. Even his high school basketball scores. Normal. My uncle is so talkative, he told the taxi driver his whole life story. Slow. My uncle is so talkative, He told the taxi driver his whole life story. Normal. My uncle is so talkative, he told the taxi driver his whole life story. The opposite is quiet. Someone who prefers to listen more than they speak. Think of Maria in a meeting. She doesn't say much, but when she does, her ideas are thoughtful and clear. She's quiet in meetings, but her ideas are brilliant. Slow. She's quiet in meetings, but her ideas are brilliant. Normal. She's quiet in meetings, but her ideas are brilliant. How you feel about yourself when you speak is also part of communication. If you believe in your ability to connect with people, you're confident. Picture David giving a presentation to 200 people. His voice is steady, his posture is strong, and he makes eye contact with the audience. Normal. He's confident when speaking to large groups. Slow. He's confident when speaking to large groups. Normal. He's confident when speaking to large groups. The opposite is shy, nervous about meeting or speaking to people, especially at first. Imagine Emily at her first day in a new class. She speaks softly, avoids eye contact, and needs time before she feels comfortable enough to join conversations. Normal. She's shy at first, but very friendly once she feels comfortable. Slow. She's shy at first, but very friendly once she feels comfortable. Normal. She's shy at first, but very friendly once she feels comfortable. Quick check. If someone enjoys meeting strangers and makes friends quickly, are they more likely to be introverted or extroverted? Right, extroverted. Now it's your turn. Pause for a moment and describe someone you know using at least one of these words: extroverted, introverted, talkative, quiet, confident, or shy. You can start with a short, simple sentence. My friend is talkative. Then add a detail to make it real. My friend is talkative. She calls me every day just to tell me about her lunch. Try mixing it up. My sister is extroverted. She makes new friends wherever she goes, even in the grocery store. My dad is introverted. He enjoys quiet evenings at home, reading a book, instead of going to parties. My coworker is confident. She can lead a meeting without any notes. My cousin is shy. He blushes and looks away when meeting new people. My classmate is quiet. In group work, she listens carefully, but only speaks when she has something important to say. Don't stress about getting it perfect on the first try. Even one-word sentences are a good start. The important thing is to speak out loud so your mouth and brain get used to the words. You can always add details later to make your descriptions richer and more colorful. Section 2. How you make others feel. Now let's talk about the way a person's presence can change the mood around them. Some people make you feel comfortable right away. They greet you with a big smile. They listen carefully and they show they care. They're warm. Imagine meeting a neighbor for the first time. They invite you in, offer you coffee, and remember your name the next time they see you. That's warm. Normal. She's such a warm person. She makes strangers feel like friends. Slow. She's such a warm person. She makes strangers feel like friends. Normal. She's such a warm person. She makes strangers feel like friends. The opposite is cold, unfriendly or without emotion. Think about walking into a store, and the cashier doesn't smile, doesn't look at you, and only says, "Next." That's cold. Normal, he gave me a cold look and walked away. Slow, he gave me a cold look and walked away. Normal, he gave me a cold look and walked away. Then we have kind, caring about others, gentle and helpful. Picture your coworker bringing you soup when you're sick, even though they're busy. That's kind. Normal. It was kind of her to bring soup when I was sick. Slow. It was kind of her to bring soup when I was sick. Normal. It was kind of her to bring soup when I was sick. The opposite is unkind, behaving in a way that hurts others, sometimes without thinking. Imagine someone laughing at another person's accent. That's unkind. Normal. It was unkind to laugh at his mistake. Slow. It was unkind to laugh at his mistake. Normal. It was unkind to laugh at his mistake. Another word for a gentle and caring person is sweet. Think of your friend remembering your favorite snack and bringing it to you just because. That's sweet. Normal. That was sweet of you to remember my birthday. Slow. That was sweet of you to remember my birthday. Normal. That was sweet of you to remember my birthday. The opposite is nasty. Unkind in a way that feels mean-spirited. For example, a coworker making a comment just to embarrass someone during a meeting. That's nasty. Normal. He said a nasty thing just to upset her. Slow. He said a nasty thing just to upset her. Normal. He said a nasty thing just to upset her. Quick check. Which is more positive, sweet or kind? Trick question. They're both positive, but sweet can feel a little more personal or affectionate. Now it's your turn. Describe someone you know using one of these words. Warm, cold, kind, unkind, sweet, or nasty. Try to picture a real moment when they made you feel that way. You can begin simply, "My teacher is kind." Then, add a real example. "My teacher is kind. She always checks if we understand the lesson and stays after class to help." Here are more ideas to inspire you. "My neighbor is warm. Whenever I visit, she greets me with a big smile and offers homemade cookies." The store clerk was cold. He didn't even look at me when I asked a question. "My classmate is sweet. She made me a card when I was sick." My boss was unkind. He laughed when I made a mistake instead of helping me fix it. The player was nasty. He shoved another player on purpose during the game. Remember, you don't need long, complicated sentences. Even short ones work. The secret is to connect the word to a real situation or memory. When the image is clear in your mind, your sentence will sound more natural and convincing. Section 3. How you treat the feelings of others. Let's look at how much you think about other people's feelings before you speak or act. Imagine your friend is carrying heavy bags. You open the door for them without even thinking. That means you're considerate. Let's practice together. Normal, it was considerate of him to lower his voice when I was on the phone. Slow, it was considerate of him to lower his voice when I was on the phone. Normal, it was considerate of him to lower his voice when I was on the phone. The opposite is inconsiderate. Say it with me. Normal, it was inconsiderate to play loud music at midnight. Slow, it was inconsiderate to play loud music at midnight. Normal, it was inconsiderate to play loud music at midnight. Now, if you take the time to think deeply about how someone might feel, you're thoughtful. Let's practice together. Normal, she's so thoughtful. She always sends a card on my birthday. Slow, she's so thoughtful. She always sends a card on my birthday. Normal, she's so thoughtful. She always sends a card on my birthday. The opposite is thoughtless. Your turn. Normal, it was thoughtless of him to joke about that topic. Slow, it was thoughtless of him to joke about that topic. Normal, it was thoughtless of him to joke about that topic. And when you choose your words carefully so you don't upset anyone, you're tactful. Let's say it together. Normal, he was very tactful when giving feedback. Slow, he was very tactful when giving feedback. Normal, he was very tactful when giving feedback. The opposite is tactless. Practice with me. Normal, it was tactless to ask her about her salary. Slow, it was tactless to ask her about her salary. Normal, it was tactless to ask her about her salary. Now it's your turn. Think of a person you know and describe them using one of these words: considerate, inconsiderate, thoughtful, thoughtless, tactful, or tactless. Say it out loud so your mouth gets used to the sound and rhythm of the words. You can start small. My friend is considerate. Then, bring the word to life with a short story. My friend is considerate. She always calls to check on me when I'm sick and even brings me homemade soup. Here are more ideas. My neighbor is thoughtful. He remembers my birthday every year and leaves a card in my mailbox. My classmate is tactful. When I made a mistake during my presentation, she quietly helped me fix it without embarrassing me. My coworker is inconsiderate. He talks loudly on the phone while everyone else is trying to work. My cousin is thoughtless. He borrowed my bike and left it outside in the rain. My teammate is tactless. She told the coach my mistakes in front of the whole team. You don't need to make long sentences. Short, real examples are enough to make the word stick in your mind. The more you connect the meaning to a personal memory, the easier it will be to use it naturally in conversation. Section 4. How honest and trustworthy you are. Trust and honesty are at the heart of every relationship. Let's look at some words that describe these qualities. If you always tell the truth and do what's right, you're honest. Picture a cashier who notices you gave them too much money and immediately returns the extra. That's honest. Normal, she's honest and never lies. Slow, she's honest and never lies. Normal. She's honest and never lies. The opposite is dishonest, lying, cheating, or hiding the truth. Imagine someone borrowing your phone, breaking it, and then saying, "I have no idea what happened." That's dishonest. Normal. He was dishonest about where he spent the money. Slow. He was dishonest about where he spent the money. Normal. He was dishonest about where he spent the money. If people can trust you to keep promises and protect their secrets, you're trustworthy. Think of a friend who keeps your personal news private, even when others ask about it. That's trustworthy. Normal. She's trustworthy and keeps my secrets safe. Slow. She's trustworthy and keeps my secrets safe. Normal. She's trustworthy and keeps my secrets safe. The opposite is untrustworthy. Someone you can't depend on to be honest or keep their word. Picture giving your house key to a friend who then lets strangers in without asking. That's untrustworthy. Normal. He's untrustworthy and often breaks his promises. Slow. He's untrustworthy and often breaks his promises. Normal. He's untrustworthy and often breaks his promises. If someone always does what they say they will, they are reliable. Imagine a coworker who never misses a deadline and is always ready to help. That's reliable. Normal. He's a reliable worker, always on time and ready to help. Slow. He's a reliable worker, always on time and ready to help. Normal. He's a reliable worker, always on time and ready to help. The opposite is unreliable, not dependable. Think of a bus service that sometimes doesn't arrive at all. That's unreliable. Normal. The bus service here is unreliable. Sometimes it doesn't come at all. Slow. The bus service here is unreliable. Sometimes it doesn't come at all. Normal. The bus service here is unreliable. Sometimes it doesn't come at all. If someone stays with you through good times and bad, they are loyal. Dogs are known for being loyal to their owners. Slow. Dogs are known for being loyal to their owners. Normal. Dogs are known for being loyal to their owners. The opposite is disloyal, not showing support or faithfulness. Normal. He was disloyal to his friends when they needed him most. Slow. He was disloyal to his friends when they needed him most. Normal. He was disloyal to his friends when they needed him most. If you speak from your heart and mean what you say, you're sincere. Normal. She gave me a sincere apology and I believed her. Slow. She gave me a sincere apology and I believed her. Normal. She gave me a sincere apology and I believed her. The opposite is insincere, pretending to feel something you don't. Normal. His compliment sounded insincere, like he didn't really mean it. Slow. His compliment sounded insincere, like he didn't really mean it. Normal. His compliment sounded insincere, like he didn't really mean it. If you are open and honest in expressing your thoughts, you are frank or direct. Normal. To be frank, I don't think this plan will work. Slow. To be frank, I don't think this plan will work. Normal. To be frank, I don't think this plan will work. Normal. She was direct and told me exactly what she wanted. Slow. She was direct and told me exactly what she wanted. Normal. She was direct and told me exactly what she wanted. If you hide things or avoid telling the truth, you might be secretive or sneaky. Normal. He's so secretive, I never know what he's thinking. Slow. He's so secretive, I never know what he's thinking. Normal. He's so secretive, I never know what he's thinking. Normal. He was sneaky about eating the last cookie. Slow. He was sneaky about eating the last cookie. Normal. He was sneaky about eating the last cookie. Honest equals tells the truth. Dishonest equals lies or cheats. Trustworthy and reliable can be depended on. But trustworthy focuses on truth and promises, while reliable focuses on performance. Loyal stays with you through good and bad. Disloyal abandons or betrays you. Sincere and insincere, whether feelings and words are genuine. Frank, direct versus secretive, sneaky. How open you are in sharing information. In the U.S., honesty is seen as the foundation of trust. Being trustworthy also means being reliable and loyal. Frankness is often valued, but being too direct can sometimes feel rude. Balance matters. Quick check. If a person always tells the truth but often forgets promises, are they honest, trustworthy, or both? Honest, but not fully trustworthy. Now it's your turn. Choose one of these words and make a sentence about someone you know. Start simple, then add a short example to make your meaning clear. For example, my coworker is reliable. She always finishes her work before the deadline. My best friend is loyal. She stood by me when I was going through a hard time. My neighbor is frank. She tells me exactly what she thinks about my cooking. Don't worry about making it perfect on the first try. Just speak out loud, even if it's only a few words. The more you practice saying these descriptions, the easier and more natural it will feel. Now that we've explored trust, honesty, and reliability, let's move into another important part of personality: how we show our feelings and emotions. Section 5. How you show feelings and emotions. Some people wear their hearts on their sleeves. You can see what they're feeling right away. Others keep their emotions more hidden. Let's look at the words we use to describe them. If you show your feelings openly, you're expressive. Picture someone listening to a funny story. They laugh loudly, cover their face when surprised, and gasp when they hear shocking news. Their face, voice, and body all show how they feel. That's expressive. Normal. She's expressive, and you can always tell when she's happy or upset. Slow. She's expressive, and you can always tell when she's happy or upset. Normal. She's expressive, and you can always tell when she's happy or upset. The opposite is reserved, keeping most feelings private. Imagine a man who hears a great joke but only smiles slightly instead of laughing. He feels happy, but he doesn't show it much. That's reserved. Normal. He's reserved and doesn't easily show his emotions. Slow. He's reserved and doesn't easily show his emotions. Normal. He's reserved and doesn't easily show his emotions. If you often feel worried or uneasy, you're anxious. Think of someone before a big test. They tap their pen, bite their lip, and can't stop thinking about what might go wrong. That's anxious. Normal. He's anxious about starting a new job. Slow. He's anxious about starting a new job. Normal. He's anxious about starting a new job. The opposite of anxious in this context is relaxed, calm, and not worried. Picture lying in a hammock on a warm summer afternoon with nothing urgent to do. You feel relaxed. Normal. She's relaxed and enjoys the quiet weekend. Slow. She's relaxed and enjoys the quiet weekend. Normal. She's relaxed and enjoys the quiet weekend. Expressive and reserved describe how you show emotions. Anxious and relaxed describe how you feel inside, especially in certain situations. Someone can be expressive but anxious, showing a lot of nervousness, or reserved but relaxed, calm inside but not showing much. In the US, being expressive is often seen as friendly and open, especially in social situations. In some cultures, being more reserved is considered polite and respectful, so reserved isn't always negative. Quick check. If your friend doesn't show much emotion but says they're feeling calm, are they reserved, relaxed, or both? Right, both. Now it's your turn. Think of someone you know who is expressive, reserved, anxious, or relaxed. You can start with a short, simple sentence. My friend is expressive. Then add a little story to bring the word to life. My friend is expressive. When she's happy, she claps her hands and laughs out loud. Try another. My brother is reserved. He listens quietly and only speaks when he has something important to say. Or, my classmate is anxious. Before every test, he taps his foot and bites his nails. Or even, my dad is relaxed. He smiles even when things go wrong and says, "It's okay, we'll figure it out." These short stories give your listener a clear picture, and they also make it easier for you to remember and use the words naturally. Section 6. How motivated you are. Now let's talk about motivation. How determined you are to reach your goals. If you don't give up easily and you stick to your decisions, you're strong-willed. Let's practice together. Normal. She's strong-willed and never lets obstacles stop her. Slow. She's strong-willed and never lets obstacles stop her. Normal. She's strong-willed and never lets obstacles stop her. The opposite is weak-willed. Say it with me. Normal. He's weak-willed and easily changes his mind. Slow. He's weak-willed and easily changes his mind. Normal. He's weak-willed and easily changes his mind. If you make firm decisions and work hard to achieve them, you're determined. Let's practice together. Normal. She's determined to finish her degree no matter what. Slow. She's determined to finish her degree no matter what. Normal. She's determined to finish her degree no matter what. The opposite is irresolute. Your turn. Normal. He's irresolute and often doesn't know what to do next. Slow. He's irresolute and often doesn't know what to do next. Normal. He's irresolute and often doesn't know what to do next. If you work very hard and stay focused on success, you're driven. Let's say it together. Normal. He's driven to start his own business before he's 30. Slow. He's driven to start his own business before he's 30. Normal. He's driven to start his own business before he's 30. The opposite is apathetic. Practice with me. Normal. She's apathetic about her job and doesn't care about the results. Slow. She's apathetic about her job and doesn't care about the results. Normal. She's apathetic about her job and doesn't care about the results. Now it's your turn. Describe someone you know using one of these words: strong-willed, weak-willed, determined, irresolute, driven, or apathetic. You can begin with a short, simple sentence. My sister is strong-willed. Then add a short example. My sister is strong-willed. Once she decides to run a marathon, nothing can stop her. Try different ones. My friend is determined. Even after failing the exam once, he studied harder and passed the next time. My neighbor is driven. She wakes up at 5 a.m. every day to work on her business. My cousin is weak-willed. He always promises to quit smoking, but gives up after a few days. My classmate is irresolute. When we need to choose a project topic, he can never make up his mind. My coworker is apathetic. He just shrugs when there's a problem at work and doesn't try to help. Speak your examples out loud. Use real people you know, even if they're from movies or books. That makes your sentences easier to remember and more fun to share. Section 7. How good you are at learning and understanding. Now, let's see how well a person can learn, understand, and make good decisions. If you understand things quickly, you're bright. Pronunciation tip: bright rhymes with light. Don't confuse it with bride, which means a woman on her wedding day. Let's practice together. Normal. She's bright and picks up new skills easily. Slow. She's bright and picks up new skills easily. Normal. She's bright and picks up new skills easily. The opposite is foolish. Foolish means not showing good judgment or sense. It's softer than calling someone stupid. Say it with me. Normal. It was foolish to leave your bag unattended. Slow. It was foolish to leave your bag unattended. Normal. It was foolish to leave your bag unattended. Another word for quick to understand is clever. Clever and bright are very similar. Bright often talks about natural intelligence, while clever can also mean being smart in a practical or creative way. Let's practice together. Normal. He's clever at finding solutions to problems. Slow. He's clever at finding solutions to problems. Normal. He's clever at finding solutions to problems. The opposite is stupid. Pronunciation tip: stupid can be pronounced stupid in British English or stupid in American English. Both are correct. Your turn. Normal. It was stupid to ignore the safety rules. Slow. It was stupid to ignore the safety rules. Normal. It was stupid to ignore the safety rules. If you are generally good at learning and understanding, you're intelligent. Let's say it together. Normal. She's intelligent and asks great questions. Slow. She's intelligent and asks great questions. Normal. She's intelligent and asks great questions. The opposite is unintelligent. Practice with me. Normal. The comment was unintelligent and added nothing to the discussion. Slow. The comment was unintelligent and added nothing to the discussion. Normal. The comment was unintelligent and added nothing to the discussion. In the US, words about intelligence can be sensitive because they can sound like judgments about a person's worth. Bright and intelligent are positive and polite, and they can be used in almost any situation. For example, teachers might say, "She's a bright student," or "He's very intelligent." Clever can be positive, meaning quick thinking, but it can also suggest being smart in a slightly tricky or sneaky way, depending on tone. Foolish means unwise or lacking good judgment, but it sounds softer and less harsh than stupid. Stupid and unintelligent are negative, and in everyday conversation, stupid can feel insulting, especially if said directly to a person. It's safer to use them about actions, not people. For example, "That was a stupid mistake" sounds less personal than "you are stupid." Now, it's your turn. Make a sentence about someone you know using one of these words: bright, foolish, clever, stupid, intelligent, or unintelligent. You can start simple. "My friend is bright." Then, add a detail to bring it to life. "My friend is bright. She can solve difficult puzzles in just a few minutes." Try different ones. "My classmate is clever. He always finds a shortcut to finish the project faster." "My neighbor is intelligent. She speaks 4 languages fluently." "It was a foolish decision by my cousin. He spent all his money on a lottery ticket instead of paying rent." "That was an unintelligent choice. My coworker ignored the safety rules and ended up damaging the equipment." "That was a stupid thing for my brother to do. He rode his bike at night without lights." You can use a comparison to show contrast. For example, "She's bright, but not very clever in social situations." "He's intelligent in science, but a little foolish when it comes to money." Remember, words like stupid or unintelligent can sound harsh in American English if you say them directly to a person. It's safer to use them about an action or a situation, or in a story where it's clear you're not trying to insult someone face to face. Section 8. How you show confidence or doubt. Let's explore how people act when they believe in themselves, or when they don't. If you believe in your own abilities and are comfortable speaking or acting, you're confident. Picture someone giving a speech to a big audience. They speak clearly, make eye contact, and stand tall. Even if they feel a little nervous inside, they seem sure of themselves. That's confident. Normal. She's confident and speaks well in public. She's confident and speaks well in public. Normal. She's confident and speaks well in public. The opposite is insecure, lacking confidence and often doubting yourself. Imagine being in the same speech situation, but constantly thinking, "I'm going to mess up." You avoid looking at the audience and rush through your words. That's insecure. Normal. He's insecure and worries about what others think. Slow. He's insecure and worries about what others think. Normal. He's insecure and worries about what others think. If you are confident in a positive, friendly way, you're self-assured. Think of a person at a party who introduces themselves to strangers, listens attentively, and tells interesting stories without showing off. That's self-assured. Normal. He's self-assured and comfortable in any situation. Slow. He's self-assured and comfortable in any situation. Normal is self-assured and comfortable in any situation. If you have too much confidence and act like you're better than others, you're arrogant. Picture a classmate who interrupts the teacher to correct them in front of everyone, just to show how smart they are. That's arrogant. Normal. It's arrogant to think you're always right. Slow. It's arrogant to think you're always right. Normal. It's arrogant to think you're always right. Confident is positive, believing in yourself without putting others down. Self-assured is a warm, friendly kind of confidence. Arrogant is a negative kind of overconfidence. Insecure is the lack of confidence. Example, you can be confident in a job interview, self-assured at a social event, arrogant if you dismiss others' ideas, or insecure if you avoid speaking up. Quick check. If someone is good at sports but brags constantly and puts others down, are they confident or arrogant? Right, arrogant. Now it's your turn. Think of someone you know who is confident, insecure, self-assured, or arrogant. Start simple. My friend is confident. Then make it real with a short story. My friend is confident. She sings in front of hundreds of people without hesitation. Try more examples. My coworker is insecure. He double-checks every small detail because he's afraid of making a mistake. My uncle is self-assured. He stays calm and sure of his decisions, even when others disagree. My classmate is arrogant. He always talks like he's smarter than everyone else. Remember, confident and self-assured are positive in most situations, while arrogant is negative, and insecure can be either sympathetic or critical, depending on tone. The goal is to give a clear picture, so choose a real person or situation you know. Even one vivid example will make your sentence more memorable and your meaning easier to understand. Section 9. How relaxed you are. Some people are calm and easygoing, while others are always tense or worried. Let's talk about how relaxed you are. If you are calm and relaxed, in American English, we often say chill. In British English, people might say chilled instead. Same meaning, just a different style. Imagine this. Jake has just finished his exams. He stretches out in a hammock with a glass of lemonade, smiling at the blue sky. No stress, no worries. He's totally chill. Let's practice together. Normal. He's so chill, nothing seems to upset him. Slow. He's so chill. Nothing seems to upset him. Normal. He's so chill, nothing seems to upset him. The opposite is tense. This usually means your body is tight, your shoulders are stiff, and your mind is full of worry, often because something important is about to happen. Picture Maria in a waiting room before her big job interview. She keeps checking her watch, tapping her foot, and holding her breath. You can see it on her face. She's tense. Normal. She was tense before the big interview. Slow. She was tense before the big interview. Normal. She was tense before the big interview. If you are naturally calm and don't get stressed, you might be easygoing. In the UK, you'll also hear laid back for the same idea. But in American English, easygoing is more common. Think of Lisa on a road trip with friends. There's traffic, some wrong turns, and even a little rain, but she doesn't mind at all. She's just happy to be there. She's easygoing. Let's practice. Normal. My teacher is easygoing and never gets angry in class. Slow. My teacher is easygoing and never gets angry in class. Normal. My teacher is easygoing and never gets angry in class. The opposite is uptight. This is more about personality and attitude than just one moment. An uptight person is often strict, easily annoyed, or overly concerned about rules and small mistakes. Picture Sam at a picnic. He keeps telling everyone not to step on the blanket, not to spill the drinks, and to make sure their shoes are lined up neatly. He just can't relax. He's uptight. Normal. He's uptight about every little detail. Slow. He's uptight about every little detail. Normal. He's uptight about every little detail. Now it's your turn. Describe someone you know using one of these words: chill, tense, uptight, easygoing, or uptight. As you think, pay attention to their body language, voice, and expressions when they interact with people. Start small. My friend is chill. Then add a detail. My friend is chill. Even when plans change at the last minute, she just smiles and goes with the flow. Here are more ideas. My coworker is easygoing. He never gets upset when our schedule changes, and he's happy to help whenever he's needed. My neighbor is tense. His shoulders are always tight, and he speaks quickly, like he's in a hurry. My cousin is uptight. He insists on following every rule exactly and gets annoyed when others don't. When describing someone as tense or uptight, you can make it clearer with a situation. Before every big meeting, my boss gets tense. She walks back and forth and checks her notes over and over. At family dinners, my uncle is uptight. He wants everyone to sit in the right seat and gets irritated if the table isn't set perfectly. The key is to picture the person's actions and mood. Then let that image guide your words. Real-life moments make your description more vivid and memorable. Section 10. Your outlook on life. If you expect good things to happen, you're optimistic. Picture Maya, who just lost her job. Instead of panicking, she says, "This is my chance to find something I love even more." She's smiling, making plans, and already thinking about her next step. That's what it means to be optimistic. Let's practice. Normal. She's optimistic about finding a new job. Slow. She's optimistic about finding a new job. Normal. She's optimistic about finding a new job. The opposite is pessimistic, expecting bad things to happen. Imagine Rob at the same moment. He loses his job and says, "I'll never find another one. Things always go wrong for me." He's not looking for solutions, only problems. That's being pessimistic. Normal. He's pessimistic about the future of the company. Slow. He's pessimistic about the future of the company. Normal. He's pessimistic about the future of the company. Now it's your turn. Say a sentence about yourself in two ways. One optimistic, one pessimistic. Pay attention to how your tone of voice, facial expression, and even posture change when you switch between them. Start simple. Optimistic. I didn't get the job this time, but I'll find something even better. Pessimistic. I didn't get the job. Nothing ever works out for me. Try more. Optimistic. It's raining today, but that means my plants will be happy. Pessimistic. It's raining today, so my weekend is ruined. Notice how optimism focuses on the possible good in a situation, while pessimism focuses on the possible bad. You can practice with small everyday situations, missing a bus, getting a low grade, or even spilling coffee, and try describing each in both ways. This not only builds your vocabulary, it also makes you more aware of the emotions your words can create. Section 11. How kind you are to others. Now let's talk about kindness, how you treat the people around you. If you care about other people's feelings and try to help them, you're kind. Let's practice together. Normal, she's kind to everyone she meets. Slow, she's kind to everyone she meets. Normal, she's kind to everyone she meets. The opposite is unkind. Kind is positive and caring. Unkind is when someone acts in a way that hurts others, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by not thinking about their feelings. Say it with me. Normal. It was unkind of him to make fun of her accent. Slow. It was unkind of him to make fun of her accent. Normal. It was unkind of him to make fun of her accent. If you can understand and share how someone feels, you're empathetic. Pronunciation tip. Empathetic. Stress the third syllable, empathetic. Don't mix it up with emphatic, which means said with strong emphasis. Let's practice together. Normal. He's empathetic and always listens without judging. Slow. He's empathetic and always listens without judging. Normal. He's empathetic and always listens without judging. The opposite is unempathetic or cold-hearted. Cold-hearted sounds stronger. It means the person not only lacks empathy, but also doesn't care about others' pain. Your turn. Normal. The manager was cold-hearted and ignored the workers' problems. Slow. The manager was cold-hearted and ignored the workers' problems. Normal. The manager was cold-hearted and ignored the workers' problems. If you're naturally gentle and caring, you're compassionate. Practice with me. Normal. She's compassionate and volunteers at the animal shelter. Slow. She's compassionate and volunteers at the animal shelter. Normal. She's compassionate and volunteers at the animal shelter. The opposite is heartless. Practice with me. Normal. It was heartless to fire him right before the holidays. Slow. It was heartless to fire him right before the holidays. Normal. It was heartless to fire him right before the holidays. Now it's your turn. Choose one positive word, kind, empathetic, compassionate, and one negative word, unkind, cold-hearted, heartless, and create a short story about a real person you know or someone you imagine. Say it out loud so you can hear the emotion in your own voice. You can start small. Positive. My neighbor is kind. She brings me fresh bread every weekend. Negative. My coworker is unkind. He never says thank you when I help him. Then try making a short story. Positive. My friend is compassionate. When my dog was sick, she came over to help me take him to the vet, even though it was late at night. Negative. My cousin was cold-hearted. When I lost my wallet, he laughed instead of offering to help. If you want to challenge yourself, combine them into one story. My boss is compassionate toward her favorite employees, but she can be heartless toward others. She once fired someone by email without even explaining why. The more personal and detailed your story, the more powerful your description will feel, and the easier it will be to remember the words. Section 12. How open you are to other people's ideas and cultures. Now let's see how willing you are to accept other people's ideas, beliefs, and ways of living. If you can accept what others say or do, even if you don't agree with them, you're tolerant. Let's practice together. Normal. She's tolerant of different cultures and traditions. Slow. She's tolerant of different cultures and traditions. Normal. She's tolerant of different cultures and traditions. The opposite is intolerant. Say it with me. Normal. He's intolerant of anyone who disagrees with him. Slow. He's intolerant of anyone who disagrees with him. Normal. He's intolerant of anyone who disagrees with him. If you are willing to listen to and think about new ideas, you're open-minded. Let's practice together. Normal. She's open-minded and always ready to try new things. Slow. She's open-minded and always ready to try new things. Normal. She's open-minded and always ready to try new things. The opposite is narrow-minded. Your turn. Normal. He's too narrow-minded to consider other opinions. Slow. He's too narrow-minded to consider other opinions. Normal. He's too narrow-minded to consider other opinions. If you judge fairly without letting personal opinions affect you, you're unbiased. Let's say it together. Normal. The judge was unbiased and listened to both sides. Slow. The judge was unbiased and listened to both sides. Normal. The judge was unbiased and listened to both sides. The opposite is biased. Practice with me. Normal. The article was biased and only showed one point of view. Slow. The article was biased and only showed one point of view. Normal. The article was biased and only showed one point of view. Now it's your turn. Think of a situation from your life and describe someone using one of these words: tolerant, intolerant, open-minded, narrow-minded, unbiased, or biased. The more personal and specific your example is, the easier it will be to remember the word. Start simple. My teacher is tolerant. She understands that students learn at different speeds. My neighbor is intolerant. He complains every time kids play in the street. Add more detail to make the image clear. My friend is open-minded. She's willing to try foods from any culture, even if they look strange to her. My uncle is narrow-minded. He refuses to listen to new ideas if they don't match his own beliefs. My coworker is unbiased. She listens to both sides of an argument before making a decision. My boss is biased. He always gives the best projects to his favorite team members. To practice, think of a real conversation or event you've experienced. Then choose one of these words and describe the person's attitude. Speaking it out loud will help you hear how the word sounds in a natural sentence. And linking it to a real memory will make it much easier to recall later. Section 13. How you work and organize things. Now let's look at personality traits connected to work style and organization. If you do things carefully and pay attention to details, you're thorough. Picture a teacher grading essays. She doesn't just check spelling. She looks at structure, grammar, and whether the ideas make sense. She even writes helpful comments in the margins. That's thorough. Normal, he's thorough and never misses a detail. Slow, he's thorough and never misses a detail. Normal, he's thorough and never misses a detail. If you like things neat and organized, you're tidy. Imagine someone whose desk has neatly stacked papers, sharpened pencils, and a perfectly aligned notebook. Even their computer files are in labeled folders. That's tidy. Normal, her desk is always tidy and well organized. Slow, her desk is always tidy and well organized. Normal, her desk is always tidy and well organized. The opposite is messy, not organized, and sometimes untidy. Picture a teenager's room with clothes on the floor, open snack bags on the desk, and a bed that hasn't been made in a week. That's messy. Normal, his room is messy and needs cleaning. Slow, his room is messy and needs cleaning. Normal, his room is messy and needs cleaning. If you always do what you promise and can be trusted, you're reliable. Imagine a friend who always arrives on time, remembers to bring what they promised, and finishes tasks without being reminded. That's reliable. Let's practice together. Normal. She's reliable and always keeps her word. Slow. She's reliable and always keeps her word. Normal. She's reliable and always keeps her word. The opposite is unreliable. You can't depend on them. Picture a coworker who agrees to help with a project but forgets about it until the deadline. You can't count on them. They're unreliable. Let's say it together. Normal. He's unreliable. He forgets important tasks. Slow. He's unreliable. He forgets important tasks. Normal. He's unreliable. He forgets important tasks. Being thorough is about how you do your work, with great care and detail. Being reliable is about whether you do what you promise, being consistent and trustworthy. Someone can be reliable but not thorough, or thorough but not always reliable. In American workplaces, reliability is one of the most valued traits. Employers often prefer a reliable worker who occasionally makes mistakes over a talented but unreliable one. Quick check. If your friend always arrives on time, but sometimes forgets small details, is she more reliable or thorough? Right, reliable. Now it's your turn. Describe a person you know using one of these words: thorough, tidy, messy, reliable, or unreliable. Start with something short and clear. My coworker is reliable. My brother's room is messy. Then add detail to paint a picture. My coworker is reliable. She always finishes her reports before the deadline and double-checks her work for mistakes. My sister is thorough. When she cleans the kitchen, she scrubs every corner, even behind the stove. My neighbor is tidy. His garden is perfectly arranged and not a single leaf is out of place. My classmate is messy. His desk is covered with papers, books, and yesterday's lunch. My teammate is unreliable. He often promises to help but forgets or cancels at the last minute. Think of real people you know, family, friends, coworkers, and connect the word to something they actually do. The more specific your example, the easier it will be for you to remember the meaning. Section 14. How you react to new experiences. Section 14. How you react to new experiences. Let's talk about how people respond when something is new, different, or uncertain. If you like trying new things and meeting new people, you're open-minded. Picture Anna on vacation. She sees a street vendor selling a fruit she's never tasted before. She buys it, tries it, and even asks the vendor how to eat it the traditional way. That's open-minded. Normal. She's open-minded and enjoys learning about other cultures. Slow. She's open-minded and enjoys learning about other cultures. Normal. She's open-minded and enjoys learning about other cultures. The opposite is narrow-minded, unwilling to accept new ideas or different ways of thinking. Imagine someone invited to try a new restaurant. Without even looking at the menu, they say, "I don't eat that kind of food," and refuse to go. That's narrow-minded. Normal. He's narrow-minded and rejects ideas that are different from his own. Slow. He's narrow-minded and rejects ideas that are different from his own. Normal. He's narrow-minded and rejects ideas that are different from his own. If you enjoy taking risks or doing things other people might find scary, you're adventurous. Think of Carlos, who hears about a last-minute weekend trip to another city. He packs a bag in 10 minutes and jumps on the bus, ready for whatever happens. That's adventurous. Normal. She's adventurous and loves traveling to unknown places. Slow. She's adventurous and loves traveling to unknown places. Normal. She's adventurous and loves traveling to unknown places. The opposite is cautious, being very careful before trying something new or risky. Imagine walking near a frozen lake in winter. An adventurous person might step onto the ice to see if it holds. A cautious person checks the thickness first or decides not to step on it at all. Normal. He's cautious and always checks the weather before hiking. Slow. He's cautious and always checks the weather before hiking. Normal. He's cautious and always checks the weather before hiking. Open-minded versus adventurous. Being open-minded is about ideas. You're willing to listen and consider new ways of thinking. Being adventurous is about actions. You're willing to try new or risky activities. You can be one without the other. For example, someone might be open-minded about learning new cultures, but not adventurous about trying extreme sports. In American English, open-minded is almost always positive. Adventurous is positive too, but sometimes cautious is also valued, especially in situations involving safety or money. Quick check. If someone is willing to try new foods but never wants to try bungee jumping, are they open-minded, adventurous, or cautious? Right, open-minded and cautious. Now it's your turn. Think of a person you know who is adventurous, cautious, open-minded, or narrow-minded. Try describing them in one short sentence. Start with, "My friend is adventurous," or "My classmate is cautious." Then add a reason. For example, "My friend is adventurous. She once went camping in the desert without a guide." Adding real examples makes your sentences more interesting and memorable. Section 15. How you treat rules and responsibilities. Now let's look at how people behave when it comes to rules, duties, and what's expected of them. If you follow the rules and do what you're told, you're obedient. Picture a student in class. The teacher says, "Please hand in your homework by Friday." And the student does exactly that, every time, without being reminded. That's obedient. Normal. The dog is obedient and follows commands. Slow. The dog is obedient and follows commands. Normal. The dog is obedient and follows commands. The opposite is disobedient, not following rules or instructions. Imagine the teacher asks everyone to be quiet, but one student keeps talking loudly to their friends. That's disobedient behavior. Normal. The child was disobedient and didn't follow the instructions. Slow. The child was disobedient and didn't follow the instructions. Normal. The child was disobedient and didn't follow the instructions. If you take your responsibilities seriously and always do your best, you're responsible. Think of Maria, who looks after her younger brother every afternoon. She helps him with homework, makes him a snack, and makes sure he's safe until their parents come home. That's responsible. Normal. She's responsible and always takes care of her duties. Slow. She's responsible and always takes care of her duties. Normal. She's responsible and always takes care of her duties. The opposite is irresponsible, not taking care of what you should do. Imagine someone borrowing a friend's bicycle and leaving it outside in the rain overnight. That's irresponsible. Normal. It was irresponsible to leave the gate open. Slow. It was irresponsible to leave the gate open. Normal. It was irresponsible to leave the gate open. Obedient and responsible are not the same. Obedient means you do what you're told by others, even if you don't agree. Responsible means you do what's right without needing to be told. In many workplaces, responsibility is valued more than obedience because employers want people who can make good decisions on their own. In American English, calling an adult obedient can sound strange or even negative because it suggests they only follow orders. It's more common for adults to be described as responsible or respectful of rules. Obedient is more often used for children or pets. Quick check. If a teenager always cleans their room without being asked, are they obedient, responsible, or both? Right, both, but especially responsible. Now it's your turn. Describe someone you know using one of these words: obedient, disobedient, responsible, or irresponsible. Start small, like my neighbor is responsible, or my classmate is disobedient. Then add a short example. My neighbor is responsible. He always helps shovel the snow from the sidewalk in winter. Speaking with examples makes your meaning clear and your vocabulary stick. Section 16. How you deal with other people's needs. Now let's talk about how people behave when someone needs help, support, or attention. If you care about other people's feelings and try to understand them, you're compassionate. Picture a coworker who notices you're upset and says, "Hey, do you want to talk about it?" They listen without judging and try to help. That's compassion. Normal. She's compassionate and always ready to help someone in trouble. Slow. She's compassionate and always ready to help someone in trouble. Normal. She's compassionate and always ready to help someone in trouble. If you think about other people's needs before your own, you're selfless. Imagine a friend who gives up their weekend plans to help you move into your new apartment, even though it's hot and tiring. That's selfless. Normal. He's selfless and always puts others first. Slow. He's selfless and always puts others first. Normal. He's selfless and always puts others first. The opposite is selfish, thinking mostly about yourself and not about others. Think of someone who takes the last slice of cake without asking if anyone else wants it. That's selfish. Normal. It was selfish of her to ignore everyone else's needs. Slow. It was selfish of her to ignore everyone else's needs. Normal. It was selfish of her to ignore everyone else's needs. If you enjoy giving things to others, time, help, or even money, you're generous. Imagine a neighbor who bakes extra cookies and shares them with the whole street. That's generous. Normal. He's generous with both his time and his money. Slow. He's generous with both his time and his money. Normal. He's generous with both his time and his money. The opposite is stingy, not wanting to share or give, even when you can. In the US, stingy is negative everywhere. In the UK, being frugal, careful with money, can be positive, but stingy still means you're unwilling to share. Example: someone who refuses to contribute a few dollars for a group gift, even though they can afford it, is stingy. Normal. He's too stingy to leave a tip at restaurants. Slow. He's too stingy to leave a tip at restaurants. Normal. He's too stingy to leave a tip at restaurants. Compassionate is about understanding and caring about someone's feelings. Selfless is about putting others first in your actions. Generous is about freely giving something valuable, time, effort, or resources. Selfish and stingy both focus on the self, but selfish can be about time, attention, or kindness, while stingy usually refers to money or possessions. Quick check. If a friend always buys lunch for others, but never talks about emotions, are they compassionate, generous, or both? Probably generous, but not necessarily compassionate. Now it's your turn. Think of someone you know who is compassionate, selfless, selfish, generous, or stingy. Start with, my friend is generous, or my brother is selfish. Then add one real or imagined example. For instance, my friend is generous. Last week, she bought coffee for everyone at work. The example makes the word come alive. Section 17. Your attitude towards work. Let's look at how your attitude towards work can shape the way people see you. If you work hard and stay busy, you're industrious. Let's practice together. Normal. She's industrious and always finds something useful to do. Slow. She's industrious and always finds something useful to do. Normal. She's industrious and always finds something useful to do. The opposite is idle. Idle means you're not doing anything. Often, just because you have nothing to do. It's more about being inactive than avoiding work. Pronunciation tip. Idle sounds like idle, not like idol, which means a famous person you admire. Same sound, but different meaning. So listen to the context carefully. Say it with me. Normal. He's idle and spends most of his time doing nothing. Slow. He's idle and spends most of his time doing nothing. Normal. He's idle and spends most of his time doing nothing. If you want to be successful and you work for it, you're ambitious. Let's practice together. Normal. She's ambitious and dreams of becoming a doctor. Slow. She's ambitious and dreams of becoming a doctor. Normal. She's ambitious and dreams of becoming a doctor. The opposite is unambitious. Your turn. Normal. He's unambitious and has no plans for the future. Slow. He's unambitious and has no plans for the future. Normal. He's unambitious and has no plans for the future. If you're willing to put in a lot of effort, you're hardworking. Let's say it together. Normal. She's hardworking and always does her best. Slow. She's hardworking and always does her best. Normal. She's hardworking and always does her best. The opposite is lazy. Lazy is similar to idle, but there's a difference. Lazy means you don't want to work, even if there's work to do, while idle just means you're not doing anything at the moment. Practice with me. Normal. He's lazy and avoids doing chores. Slow. He's lazy and avoids doing chores. Normal. He's lazy and avoids doing chores. Now it's your turn. Make a sentence about someone using one of these words: industrious, idle, ambitious, unambitious, hardworking, or lazy. Start simple. My friend is hardworking. My cousin is lazy. Then make it more vivid. My friend is industrious. She wakes up early, runs her bakery in the morning, and studies at night. My neighbor is idle. He spends most of the day lying on the couch watching TV. My classmate is ambitious. He wants to start his own company before he turns 25. My brother is unambitious. He's happy to stay in the same job forever without trying to improve his skills. For a challenge, try a comparison in the same sentence. My sister is hardworking, but my brother is lazy. Jake is ambitious, while Tom is unambitious and prefers a quiet life. Sarah is industrious, unlike her idle roommate who avoids chores. The more specific your example, the easier it will be for your listener to picture the person, and the easier it will be for you to remember the word later. Section 18. How you approach planning and the future. Some people like to plan everything ahead of time. Others prefer to go with the flow. Let's look at the words we use for these habits. If you think carefully about the future and prepare for it, you're prudent. Picture someone who reads the weather forecast before planning a picnic, books the venue early, and packs sunscreen and an umbrella, just in case. That's prudent. Normal. She's prudent and always plans for possible problems. Slow. She's prudent and always plans for possible problems. Normal. She's prudent and always plans for possible problems. If you make decisions quickly, often without thinking much about the results, you're impulsive. Imagine seeing a flash sale online and buying 3 pairs of shoes without checking your budget. That's impulsive. Normal. He's impulsive and often spends money without thinking. Slow. He's impulsive and often spends money without thinking. Normal. He's impulsive and often spends money without thinking. If you like to act according to a plan, you're methodical. Think of a chef who measures every ingredient carefully, follows each recipe step exactly, and cleans the kitchen as they go. That's methodical. Let's practice together. Normal. He's methodical and works in a very organized way. Slow. He's methodical and works in a very organized way. Normal. He's methodical and works in a very organized way. The opposite is disorganized, doing things without a clear system. Picture someone trying to pack for a trip at the last minute. Clothes are everywhere. They can't find their passport. Then they forget their toothbrush. That's disorganized. Normal. She's disorganized and often loses important papers. Slow. She's disorganized and often loses important papers. Normal. She's disorganized and often loses important papers. Prudent is about making careful, wise decisions. Impulsive is about acting quickly, sometimes with regret later. Methodical is about following a step-by-step plan, while disorganized is about lacking order. Example, you could be prudent and methodical, carefully planned, or impulsive and disorganized, chaotic and unprepared. In American English, prudent sounds a little formal, and people often use careful or wise in everyday speech. Impulsive is sometimes used positively if the action is fun or exciting, but it often means the decision wasn't the best. Quick check. If a person always compares prices before shopping and writes a list before going to the store, are they prudent, methodical, or both? Right, both. Now it's your turn. Think of someone you know who is prudent, impulsive, methodical, or disorganized. Start simple. My coworker is methodical. Then make it more vivid. My coworker is methodical. She keeps color-coded folders for every project and never forgets a deadline. Here are more examples. My uncle is prudent. He always researches carefully before making an investment. My friend is impulsive. Last weekend, she suddenly decided to buy a ticket and fly to another city without planning. My classmate is disorganized. His desk is a mountain of papers, and he often loses important notes. For better practice, try comparing two people in one sentence. Anna is prudent with her money, but her brother is impulsive and spends it as soon as he gets it. Our team leader is methodical, while the assistant is disorganized and forgets tasks. When you practice, choose real-life examples from your family, friends, or coworkers. The more personal and specific your story is, the more natural your sentence will sound, and the easier it will be to remember the word later. Section 19. How you work with others. How you work with others. Now let's talk about personality traits that show up when you're part of a team or working with other people. If you enjoy working with others and contribute to the group's success, you're cooperative. Picture a group project at school. One student listens to everyone's ideas, takes on their share of work, and helps others finish theirs if needed. That's cooperative. Normal, she's cooperative and works well in a team. Slow. She's cooperative and works well in a team. Normal, she's cooperative and works well in a team. The opposite is uncooperative, not willing to work with others or share the load. Imagine a team where one person refuses to follow the group's plan, ignores messages, and only does what they want. That's uncooperative. Normal, he's uncooperative and makes group projects harder. Slow, he's uncooperative and makes group projects harder. Normal, he's uncooperative and makes group projects harder. If you are polite and show good manners, you're courteous. Think of a coworker who holds the door open for you, says please and thank you, and listens without interrupting. That's courteous. Normal, she's courteous to everyone she meets. Slow, she's courteous to everyone she meets. Normal, she's courteous to everyone she meets. The opposite is rude, speaking or acting in a way that is impolite or disrespectful. Imagine someone who cuts in line, talks over others, and doesn't say thank you when given help. That's rude. Normal, It's rude to interrupt someone while they're speaking. Slow. It's rude to interrupt someone while they're speaking. Normal. It's rude to interrupt someone while they're speaking. Cooperative and courteous are both positive in group situations, but cooperative focuses on working together, while courteous focuses on manners and respect. Uncooperative means unwilling to work together, while rude means showing bad manners. Someone can be uncooperative without being rude, or rude without being uncooperative. In American culture, being both cooperative and courteous is often seen as a sign of professionalism. Rudeness can damage relationships quickly, especially in work settings. Quick check. If someone helps their team finish a project and always says please and thank you, are they cooperative, courteous, or both? Right, both. Now it's your turn. Think of someone you know who is cooperative, uncooperative, courteous, or rude. Start small. My neighbor is courteous. Then make it come alive with detail. My neighbor is courteous. She always greets me with a smile and offers to help carry my groceries. Here are more examples. My teammate is cooperative. He listens to everyone's ideas and works hard to make the project a success. My classmate is uncooperative. He refuses to share notes or work with the group. The hotel staff was courteous. They opened the door for me and offered me tea while I waited. The bus driver was rude. He shouted at a passenger for asking a question. For a little challenge, try a comparison. Our new manager is cooperative, but the assistant manager is uncooperative and ignores requests. The waiter was courteous, while the chef was rude and wouldn't answer our questions. The more specific your example, the more natural your speaking will sound. Real moments from your life, or even from a movie or book you know well, will make these words easier to remember and use. Section 20. How you handle challenges and pressure. Some people stay strong and steady when things get tough. Others find it harder to keep going. Let's explore some words for these traits. If you keep going, even when life is hard, you're resilient. Picture someone who loses their job, but quickly starts applying for new ones, learns new skills, and stays hopeful. They bounce back instead of giving up. That's resilience. Normal. She's resilient and recovers quickly from setbacks. Slow. She's resilient and recovers quickly from setbacks. Normal. She's resilient and recovers quickly from setbacks. If you can wait calmly without getting upset, you're patient. Imagine standing in a long line at the DMV. A patient person quietly scrolls on no phone or chats with a friend instead of complaining. Normal. He's patient and never complains about waiting. Slow. He's patient and never complains about waiting. Normal. He's patient and never complains about waiting. The opposite is impatient, not able to wait calmly. Picture someone tapping their foot, sighing loudly, and looking at their watch every 2 seconds in the same DMV line. That's impatient. Normal. She's impatient and hates waiting in traffic. Slow. She's impatient and hates waiting in traffic. Normal. She's impatient and hates waiting in traffic. If you never give up, even when something is really difficult, you're persistent. Think of a writer who sends their book to 20 publishers and gets rejected every time, but keeps sending it until someone finally says yes. That's persistence. Normal. He's persistent and keeps trying until he succeeds. Slow. He's persistent and keeps trying until he succeeds. Normal. He's persistent and keeps trying until he succeeds. Resilient means you recover from problems quickly. Persistent means you keep pushing forward without stopping. Patient means you wait calmly, while impatient is the opposite. Example: you can be resilient after losing a job, persistent while applying for new ones, and patient while waiting for replies. In the US, persistence is often celebrated as a key to success. Resilience is also valued highly, especially in personal stories about overcoming challenges. Quick check. If someone keeps applying for jobs even after 10 rejections, are they resilient, persistent, or both? Right, both. Now it's your turn. Describe someone you know using one of these words: resilient, patient, impatient, or persistent. Start simple. My friend is patient. Then bring the word to life with a real example. My friend is patient. She teaches young children and never gets angry when they make mistakes. Try a few more. My aunt is resilient. After losing her job, she learned new skills and started her own business. My classmate is persistent. He practiced the same psalm on the guitar every day until he could play it perfectly. My brother is impatient. He taps his fingers and sighs loudly whenever he has to wait in line. The trick is to connect each word to a true moment or story. When the example is vivid in your mind, you'll remember the word more easily and use it more naturally in conversation. And remember, you don't need to make a long speech. Even 1 or 2 sentences can make your point clearly. Section 21. How you handle change and new situations. Section 21. How you handle change and new situations. We've just talked about honesty and trust. Now, let's move to something different. How people react when life throws something new at them. If you can change your plans easily and stay calm when things don't go as expected, you're flexible. Picture someone whose outdoor wedding gets rained out. Instead of panicking, they move the party inside, change the decorations, and still enjoy the day. That's flexible. Normal. She's flexible and adapts to any situation. Slow. She's flexible and adapts to any situation. Normal. She's flexible and adapts to any situation. The opposite is inflexible, not willing to change or adapt. Imagine a team leader who refuses to adjust a project deadline even when new problems come up. That's inflexible. Normal. He's inflexible, then refuses to change his plan. Slow. He's inflexible and refuses to change his plan. Normal. He's inflexible and refuses to change his plan. If you remain calm and make good decisions during difficult times, you're level-headed. Think of a person who stays calm during a power outage, lights some candles, and organizes help for neighbors instead of panicking. That's level-headed. Normal. She's level-headed and stays calm in emergencies. Slow. She's level-headed and stays calm in emergencies. Normal. She's level-headed and stays calm in emergencies. The opposite is hot-headed, reacting quickly with anger or without thinking. Imagine a basketball player who gets so angry over a referee's call that they start yelling and get thrown out of the game. That's hot-headed. Normal. He's hot-headed and often gets into arguments. Slow. He's hot-headed and often gets into arguments. Normal. He's hot-headed and often gets into arguments. Flexible and inflexible describe how easily you change plans. Level-headed and hot-headed describe how you handle emotions, especially under stress. Example: a level-headed person can still be inflexible about certain rules, and a flexible person can sometimes lose their temper. They're different qualities. In the U.S., being flexible is often seen as a strength in the workplace. Level-headedness is also valued, especially in leadership roles. Hot-headed behavior can be admired in competitive sports for showing passion, but in most jobs, it's viewed negatively. Quick check. If your boss stays calm during a crisis but refuses to change the schedule, are they level-headed, flexible, or both? They're level-headed, but not flexible. Now it's your turn. Describe someone you know who is flexible, inflexible, level-headed, or hot-headed. Start simple. My friend is flexible. Then make it more vivid. My friend is flexible. When our travel plans got canceled, she quickly found another destination. And we still had a great trip. Here are more ideas. My boss is level-headed. Even when a big project goes wrong, he stays calm and helps the team fix it. My uncle is hot-headed. If someone cuts him off in traffic, he yells and honks right away. My classmate is inflexible. If the group changes the meeting time, he refuses to adjust his schedule. For a challenge, try combining two words in one sentence to compare. Our coach is level-headed during practice, but hot-headed during a game. Anna is flexible with her work hours, while Ben is inflexible and insists on the same routine every day. When you practice, imagine a real situation where you saw this behavior. Picture the person's face, body language, and tone of voice. Then describe it. That picture in your mind will help you remember and use the word naturally. Section 22. How you handle problems. Let's talk about how people deal with challenges or difficult situations. If you keep trying, even when things are hard, you're determined. Picture a student studying for a big exam. She fails the first practice test, but instead of giving up, she studies harder and takes another one. She keeps going until she gets the score she needs. That's determination. Normal? She's determined to pass the exam no matter how hard it is. She's determined to pass the exam no matter how hard it is. Normal? She's determined to pass the exam no matter how hard it is. If you find it easy to think of new solutions, you're resourceful. Imagine being lost in a city with no phone battery. A resourceful person might ask locals for directions, look for maps at a bus stop, or use street signs to figure out where they are. Another situation? You're cooking dinner and realize you forgot to buy a main ingredient. A resourceful person might substitute something else or change the recipe instead of giving up. Extra note, being resourceful is about creativity and problem solving. You might still feel a little nervous, but you keep thinking and trying new ideas until you succeed. Normal, he's resourceful and can fix problems quickly. Slow, he's resourceful and can fix problems quickly. Normal, he's resourceful and can fix problems quickly. If you stay calm and in control in stressful situations, you're composed. Pronunciation tip: the stress is on the second syllable, composed. Picture a team leader whose computer crashes right before a big presentation. Instead of panicking, she smiles, takes a deep breath, and begins speaking without the slides. Another example: a nurse working in a busy emergency room stays calm and focused, even with loud noises and urgent situations all around. Composed is about your emotional state. You don't let panic show, and your actions stay steady. You can be composed even if you're not resourceful, and you can be resourceful without being composed, but often the two go together. Normal, he stayed composed during the emergency. Slow, he stayed composed during the emergency. Normal, he stayed composed during the emergency. The opposite of composed is flustered, feeling nervous, confused, and under pressure, so you make mistakes. Imagine a waiter carrying too many plates at once. A customer asks a question, another waves for the bill, and suddenly he drops a fork and forgets the drink order. Another example: you're giving a speech and forget your place. Someone coughs loudly, the microphone squeals, and you lose track of what you wanted to say. Your face gets hot, and you start speaking too quickly. That's flustered. Flustered is not the same as nervous before something starts. It's about being in the middle of a situation and feeling overwhelmed so your brain and body stop working smoothly. Normal, she got flustered when too many people asked for help at the same time. Slow, she got flustered when too many people asked for help at the same time. Normal, she got flustered when too many people asked for help at the same time. Resourceful, quick thinking and finding solutions. Example: your phone dies, so you borrow a stranger's charger. Composed, staying calm and in control. Example: your phone dies and you don't get upset. You just keep working on the problem calmly. Flustered, losing focus and control when things get stressful. Example: your phone dies and you drop your bag, spill your coffee, and forget what you were doing. Quick check. You're in the middle of a video call when your internet suddenly stops working. You stay calm, use your phone's hotspot, and rejoin the call in 2 minutes. Are you resourceful, composed, or both? Right, both. Now it's your turn. Think of a time you solved a problem. Which of these words best describes how you acted? Determined, resourceful, composed, or flustered? If you have a real story, start there. For example, I was determined. I failed my driving test the first time, but I practiced every day until I passed. I was resourceful. When my phone charger broke, I borrowed one from a stranger at the cafe so I could finish my work. I stayed composed. During my job interview, even when the fire alarm went off, I kept answering calmly. I got flustered. When my teacher asked me a surprise question, I forgot what I wanted to say. If you can't think of a real situation, make one up. I was resourceful when I fixed my broken glasses using tape. I was flustered when I locked my keys in the car right before an important meeting. The key is to speak your sentences out loud, even if they're short. Your brain learns faster when your mouth and ears are involved, and connecting the word to a specific image or moment makes it easier to remember later. Section 23. How you handle money and resources. Money habits can say a lot about someone's personality. Let's look at a few useful words. If you spend money carefully and avoid waste, you're frugal. Picture a college student on a tight budget who always looks for discounts, cooks at home instead of eating out, and reuses shopping bags. That's frugal. Careful, but not cheap. Normal? She's frugal and saves most of her paycheck. Slow. She's frugal and saves most of her paycheck. Normal. She's frugal and saves most of her paycheck. If you refuse to share or spend money, even when you can afford it, you're stingy. Imagine a man who earns a good salary but never tips at restaurants, even for excellent service. That's stingy. Normal, he's too stingy to buy a birthday gift for his own sister. Slow, he's too stingy to buy a birthday gift for his own sister. Normal, he's too stingy to buy a birthday gift for his own sister. If you like giving money, time, or other things to help people, you're generous. Think of a neighbor who brings homemade soup to a sick friend and also donates to local charities. That's generous. Normal, he's generous with his time and always helps his neighbors. Slow, he's generous with his time and always helps his neighbors. Normal, he's generous with his time and always helps his neighbors. If you spend money freely and enjoy buying nice things, you're extravagant. Imagine someone who books a luxury hotel for a short weekend trip and buys gifts for everyone they know. That's extravagant. Fun for some, but maybe too expensive for others. Normal, she's extravagant and loves designer clothes. Slow, extravagant and loves designer clothes. Normal, she's extravagant and loves designer clothes. Frugal is about being careful with money in a smart way. Stingy is negative, too unwilling to spend or share. Generous is positive, willing to give and share freely. Extravagant means spending a lot, sometimes more than necessary. Example, a frugal person might choose a cheaper hotel. A generous person might buy you a meal. A stingy person might refuse to share a snack. And an extravagant person might rent a limousine for a short ride. In the US, frugal is a common everyday word and is often praised, especially when linked to financial wisdom or smart budgeting. It suggests being careful with money without being mean or selfish. Stingy, on the other hand, is negative everywhere. Generous is always positive, while extravagant can be admired or criticized depending on the situation. Quick check. If a person loves buying expensive gifts for friends but has trouble saving money, are they frugal, stingy, generous, or extravagant? They're generous and extravagant. Now it's your turn. Think of someone you know who is frugal, stingy, generous, or extravagant. Start small. My uncle is generous. Then make it more vivid. My uncle is generous. Last year, he paid for our entire family's vacation. Here are more ideas. My classmate is frugal. She always looks for sales and uses coupons, but still buys good quality items. My neighbor is stingy. He never tips at restaurants, even when the service is good. My friend is extravagant. She buys expensive shoes every month, even if she only wears them once. In the US, frugal is usually positive. It means being careful with money, without being cheap. Stingy, however, is negative everywhere and suggests someone is unwilling to spend money, even when it's reasonable. Generous is strongly positive, and extravagant can be either positive or negative, depending on whether people see it as stylish or wasteful. For a challenge, try comparing two people in one sentence. My aunt is frugal, but my cousin is extravagant. She spends hundreds of dollars on decorations for every party. Our boss is generous with praise, but stingy with salary raises. When you practice, think of a real situation and speak it out loud. The more personal your example, the more the meaning will stick in your mind. Section 24. Other common personality traits. If you never change your mind and keep doing what you want, you're stubborn. Imagine a group of coworkers deciding where to have lunch. Everyone suggests a new place, but one person keeps saying, "No, I only want to go to the cafe across the street." Even after 10 minutes of discussion, they won't agree to try somewhere else. That's stubborn. Let's practice. Normal. He's stubborn and refused to change his decision. Slow. He's stubborn and refused to change his decision. Normal. He's stubborn and refused to change his decision. If you can wait calmly without getting upset, you're patient. Think of a parent helping a child learn to tie their shoes. The child keeps making mistakes, but the parent smiles, encourages them, and explains again. That's patience. Normal. She's patient with young children. Slow. She's patient with young children. Normal. She's patient with young children. The opposite is impatient. You don't like waiting and want things to happen right away. Imagine you're in line at the grocery store and the cashier is moving slowly. The person behind you is sighing, looking at their watch and muttering under their breath. That's impatient. Patience is about staying calm when things take time. Impatience is when the waiting makes you irritated or restless. Normal. He's impatient and gets annoyed when the bus is late. Slow. He's impatient and gets annoyed when the bus is late. Normal. He's impatient and gets annoyed when the bus is late. Mini check. Which word would you use if someone calmly reads a book while their flight is delayed? Right, patient. If you show your feelings easily, you're emotional. Picture a friend watching a graduation ceremony. As soon as the first student walks across the stage, they start tearing up. Or they laugh loudly at a small joke. Their feelings are easy to see. They're emotional. Normal. She's emotional and cries during sad movies. Slow. She's emotional and cries during sad movies. Normal. She's emotional and cries during sad movies. If you think carefully and base decisions on facts, you're rational. Pronunciation tip. In American English, rational is rash-anal. The middle part sounds like rational. For example, when friends are talking about buying an expensive car, a rational person might say, "Let's look at the budget first and see if we can afford it." Emotional decisions are based mainly on feelings. Rational decisions are based mainly on facts and logic. In real life, people often use a mix of both. Normal. He's rational and always looks at the facts. Slow. He's rational and always looks at the facts. Normal. He's rational and always looks at the facts. If you keep your thoughts and feelings private, you're reserved. In American English, many people also say private in this sense. Imagine a team meeting where most people are sharing personal weekend stories, but one person just smiles, listens, and talks only about work. They're reserved. Normal. She's reserved and doesn't share much about her personal life. Slow. She's reserved and doesn't share much about her personal life. Normal. She's reserved and doesn't share much about her personal life. Final challenge. Pick any 3 words you've learned and use them to describe yourself, a friend, and a famous person. Start small and clear. I'm patient when teaching. My friend is ambitious. Oprah Winfrey is generous. Then, expand with details so the listener can picture it. I'm patient when teaching. I don't mind explaining something 3 or 4 times until my students understand. My friend is ambitious. She studies full-time, works part-time, and is already planning to start her own business. Oprah Winfrey is generous. She has donated millions to education and charities. Bonus challenge. Compare 2 qualities in 1 sentence. I'm patient when teaching, but I can be impatient when driving. My friend is frugal with her money, but extravagant with gifts for her family. This actor is confident on stage, but shy in interviews. If you want to push yourself, try telling a short mini story that includes all 3 descriptions in a single paragraph. Speaking in longer stretches will make your speech flow more naturally and help you remember the words in real conversation. You've just learned dozens of ways to describe people, but remember, learning the words is only the first step. The real magic happens when you use them out loud. So here's my challenge for you. Rewind this video, choose new words each time, and practice again and again until they roll off your tongue naturally. Don't just watch. Speak. Listen to yourself and repeat. Every time you come back, you'll sound a little more fluent, a little more confident. And hey, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every sentence you try is a step forward. Confidence comes from action, not perfection. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who wants to grow their English too. The more you practice together, the faster you'll improve. All right, that's it for today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and I'll see you in the next video. You've got this.